Enterprise data architecture faces a persistent tension, keeping system records secure while ensuring they remain accessible to the people who need them. In a properly configured Salesforce environment, the baseline is restricted. When a user creates a new record, they own it, and by default, it remains isolated from the rest of the organization. Solving this requirement requires a systematic method of granting record visibility without compromising the system's structural integrity. Salesforce architects solve the visibility challenge by designing a multidimensional access model. This model maps access across two distinct axes, rather than a single toggle between open and closed data. The first axis dictates structural upward expansion. The second axis controls functional lateral extension. Understanding the specific dynamics of this vertical and horizontal movement is how architects design scalable CRM security models. The y-axis dictates vertical movement, which in a CRM corresponds directly to an organization's reporting structure. In Salesforce, this structure is governed by the role hierarchy. This organizational chart shows how the role hierarchy grants implicit upward visibility. When a user at the bottom of the management chain creates a new record, that data does not stay trapped at the bottom. The system recognizes the reporting chain and grants access to that user's direct manager. This access flows continuously up the branches to the top of the executive chain. The system executes this upward expansion automatically, requiring no manual configuration or custom triggers. Architects use this mechanism to ensure leadership can oversee, audit, and report on the data generated by their immediate teams. This flow of information is designed to mirror the company's real-world structural reporting chain. This visibility is strictly unidirectional. The hierarchy does not grant downward access. A manager's personal records remain invisible to their subordinates. While the role hierarchy secures the vertical reporting line, it leaves distinct departments operating in isolated data silos. Those silos become an issue in cross-functional operations, such as a customer support team needing context from a sales team's closed deal to resolve a ticket. Looking at these distinct vertical branches for sales and support, we see where a strictly vertical access model fails. Data flowing up the sales hierarchy remains visible only to sales leadership. It cannot cross the gap to reach the support representatives. This represents a matrix organization, where teams must collaborate laterally across different departments. When these two discrete branches cannot view the same record, it causes operational bottlenecks and forces duplicated efforts. An architect cannot solve this by simply moving the support user under the sales hierarchy. Doing so would compromise the accuracy of the structural reporting chain. Relying solely on an organization's structural hierarchy is insufficient for cross-team collaboration. The x-axis provides the solution to this matrix problem. Horizontal access in Salesforce is handled by sharing rules. Returning to our organizational chart, sharing rules grant explicit sideways visibility to discrete teams, bypassing the vertical hierarchy. Unlike the role hierarchy, which evaluates access based on position, sharing rules are explicit and conditional. The first trigger method for this sideways access is criteria-based sharing. Architects use data attributes, such as region, industry, or current status, to dictate exactly which unrelated teams get lateral access. The second trigger method is ownership-based sharing. Here, a group of users gains access to a set of records strictly because of who owns the parent record, regardless of the individual data points inside. This sideways data flow is decoupled from the reporting structure. The primary use case for these rules is to enable targeted, secure cross-functional business collaboration. Sharing rules operate under a strict additive principle. They only add access. They cannot restrict baseline settings. Deploying these rules prevent administrators from having to alter the structural org chart to force visibility between departments. Sharing rules effectively bridge those lateral gaps, transforming isolated vertical silos into a secure collaborative network. This macro view of the organizational chart displays the complete dual-axis ecosystem functioning as a unified architecture. The role hierarchy manages structural expansion. Sharing rules manage functional extension. When layered correctly, they resolve the chaotic nodes into a secure, fully interconnected, multi-dimensional grid. These two tools are not competitors. They act as complementary layers of data security. The directional rule for memorization is role hierarchy expands upward, while sharing rules extend sideways. The functional rule is hierarchy is for reporting and rules are for collaboration. Utilizing this dual model allows enterprise architects to keep their baseline default access restricted, systematically exposing only what the business demands. Articulating this operational difference between vertical and horizontal flow is a critical requirement when facing platform certification exams and technical architect interviews. Mastering the balance between vertical and horizontal access vectors is what allows an architect to build a Salesforce environment that is both secure and collaborative.